Ladies and gentlemen, this is your AEW Dynamite review on Friday night, June 4th, 2021. I am in a different venue this weekend as I am spending my weekend down the shore, relaxing, having a good time and all that stuff. As you can see, I am solo here tonight on the Big Fight Fuel channel. I brought my computer down originally for tonight's Dynamite review, but the Wi-Fi wasn't that great here, and the computer won't turn on. So Wesley Williams will be back next Friday night. We got another Friday night Dynamite show next week, and he will be back to talk about that show, and we'll be back to normal things. But as for tonight, I am here to go solo for tonight's Dynamite review. I thought we got ourselves a very good episode of Dynamite tonight. This was the post-Dynamite of Double or Nothing, and another thing that I love about AEW is the surprise factor. We always get a big thing that happens on the post-Dynamite shows to a pay-per-view, and I'll talk about that tonight. I'm not going to be here that long. It should only be like 20-25 minutes, and then we will get out of here. But let's just get started with tonight's review. If you haven't already, be sure to go check out my Double or Nothing review from last Sunday. It's still available on the channel. We could definitely get that to 100 views, I think. You got the Raw review, and we got my thoughts on the released WWE Superstars this past week. So for Dynamite, we kicked off tonight's show with the match that I thought was going to main event, but it opened the show. We opened up with the Young Bucks versus Penta El Zero Miedo and Pac. These four guys are absolutely fantastic. You could have not opened up tonight's show in a better way. That's exactly what happened. This was a awesome tag team match, non-title match. You knew this was going to be the best match of the night. This was the match I was looking forward to the most, and it 100% delivered big time. Young Bucks go over after they cheat on Pac to win the match. We got a whole lot of fun spots in this match. Destroyers, Pac and Penta did their version of the super kick party. And like I said at the end, the Young Bucks had to cheat to defeat Pac and Penta. After the match, the Young Bucks attack Penta, and Eddie Kingston comes in for the save, and that sets up a 6-person tag next week on Dynamite with the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler against Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Pac. So that should be a fun match, and that was the way tonight's Dynamite opened. Awesome way to open. You could have not opened up Dynamite tonight in such a better way, in my opinion. And then we got to Mark Henry. Mark Henry was introduced by Tony Schiavone, and this was the biggest thing on tonight's show. Was not even close. This made Dynamite tonight the way it was. Mark Henry was out there. He was cut off by Vicky Guerrero. So Vicky Guerrero immediately comes in. She says, "Excuse me," all of the Vicky Guerrero stuff. So Tony Schiavone and Mark Henry leave the ring, and she grabs the microphone and she introduces a third-generation superstar. He has been champions all over the world, and she introduces Andrade El Idolo. So Andrade is in AEW, man. Wow. I honestly did not expect that. I thought he would go to New Japan and work for there. but I would not be surprised if he has an offer where he can work Japan while working with AEW. But man, he didn't walk out with any music, which I don't really understand, but I loved it, man. His presence, another big Latino star in AEW. So you already have Penta and Rey Fenix, and now we have Andrade. We have Andrade in AEW, and he cuts a promo, and he says that he is going to be. His goal is to be the face of AEW, and he's being paired with Vicky Guerrero, which I think makes a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. You needed to pair him with somebody, and I think out of all the managers that AEW has, Vicky was probably the best option for him. This is outstanding news. AEW's Twitter account officially posted that Andrade was all elite, and he is now in AEW, man. I know, this is the one thing I miss most talking about with my boy Wesley Williams tonight, man. He's going to be back on the channel next week, and he'll give his thoughts on this. But man, I already know that he loves this. This is WWE's loss and AEW's gain, man. They just gained one of the most talented wrestlers in the world. And I'm not just saying that because he's in AEW now. I've been saying that for years, that Andrade was one of the most talented wrestlers in the entire world. Now with him in AEW, it's a no-brainer, man. He is going to flourish. He is going to do great things in AEW. I love it. I could totally see feuds in the future with Andrade, with, Cody Rhodes. That's who I would make his first feud be with. And I'll talk about Cody Rhodes in a little bit because he's next. But I would start off Andrade feuding with Cody Rhodes. You can put him in there with the Lucha Brothers. You can put him in there with freaking Ricky Starks, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy. He is going to flourish in AEW, man. And this, like I said, this is WWE's loss and AEW's gain. And Vince McMahon looks like a buffoon after this. Andrade is all elite, and I could not be any happier for him, man. Couldn't be any happier. And then we get to Cody. Cody teamed up with Lee Johnson against QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo tonight. I didn't really want to see a mixture of Cody and Anthony Ogogo in the same match after what happened on Sunday. But what we got tonight, this was actually a good tag team match. I enjoyed it for what it was. It looked like Cody was going to tap out QT Marshall with the figure four, and then the turnaround the match was the frog splash that Ogogo gave to Cody, and then Lee Johnson takes out Ogogo. Cody later sets up for the crossroads. Ogogo knocks him out. QT falls right on top of Cody, and QT Marshall pins Cody Rhodes in this tag team match. The commentary team played it off great, as if this was a huge upset, which it was. Cody is one of the top superstars in AEW, and he just got pinned by QT Marshall. So they made that a big deal, and apparently we are still getting the feud between the Nightmare Family and the Factory, which they gotta end this, man. They have got to end this feud, in my opinion. I'm not interested. I'm not interested, man. I wanted to give it a chance. I gave it a chance once Cody came back. I thought maybe it would get better with him back. He had the match with QT, which is good. He had the match with the Go-Go, which was a disappointment. And I wanted it to be over. Just have Cody go into a feud with Andrade. That's what I want, Cody and Andrade. And then after this, we had Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle come out. They cut a very good promo, all of them. Basically, what's happening is we are still getting the feud between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. But what's happening is we're going to get a series of matches, probably with Santana, Ortiz, and FTR, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears. We are definitely getting a Jericho MJF match. And then we are, in 2 weeks, getting a match with Jake Hager and Wardlow in an MMA cage fight, which should be interesting. It could go either two ways. It's either going to be a really good match, or it is going to be an absolute mess. And I hope it's a really good match, because Jake Hager is a beast in the MMA cage. So we are getting that match in 2 weeks on Dynamite. And then after this, we had Christian Cage and Jungle Boy against Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party, who are dressing up now that they are like bartenders. Or they're dressing up like they're going to the bar. They're not even wearing wrestling tires when they wrestle, which I like that, actually, because it fits the Matt Hardy gimmick, as they are with Matt Hardy. And, they don't want to wrestle in these gear. You want to wrestle in big money clothes, which will look expensive. And that's exactly what Private Party are wrestling in. So, you know what? I'm a fan of it. I am actually a fan that they're not wrestling in normal clothes. I like that. So, they had this match. It was a good tag team match. Wasn't really invested into it that much. Jungle Boy just keeps getting his momentum and more momentum as we head to that match with Kenny Omega, which got switched. Tony Khan announced today that in this month we're going to get a Saturday Night Dynamite, and that is because the NBA playoffs are and AEW is getting preempted by the NBA playoffs once again. I can't wait till these playoffs are over, just for this reason. And on that Saturday Night Dynamite, Tony Khan said this is going to be built up as a big show. It's going to be live, which is a good thing. And Jungle Boy is going to get his world title match on that night versus Kenny Omega, which I'm so happy about, because that match needs to be live. And they need to have at least 50% capacity in the show, like they did last Friday's Dynamite. And if you guys realize, well, why isn't the crowd as loud as last Friday or Sundays, is because Daly's Place was not filled up. Daly's Place was not at 50% capacity. Yes, we saw a lot of people surrounded together on the hard cam, but behind, I don't really think there was that much people there. But we are getting that match on Saturday Night Dynamite, which I am happy about. And if you're going to make it a big show before you leave Daly's Place, that show needs to be at least 50% capacity, in my opinion. Jungle Boy gets the win for his team as Mark Quinn taps out right in front of Matt Hardy. And then after the match, Christian Cage is walking up and Matt Hardy gives him the twist of fate. So we could be getting a match in the future between Matt Hardy and Christian Cage, which I really wouldn't mind that much. So, yeah, that's that. And then we had Sting and Darby next. Sting talked about how he's had some great moments in his career, but Sunday night in this building, Double or Nothing, in that tag team match, that was one of the greatest moments, not even in my career, but in my life. Being in the atmosphere and getting the team with Darby Allin. And then we see Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky up here on the Titantron, and Scorpio Sky was talking about how great Sting's performance was and how he outperformed everybody's expectations. And then Ethan Page talked about how Darby Allin got carried by Sting at the pay-per-view, and they still want to teach Darby a lesson. And they told Darby that we want you to prove yourself against us once more. This time you can't pick Sting as your partner. You're going to have to pick somebody else. And that was that. I'll be honest with you guys, man. Just like the Nightmare Family Factory feud, which I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in this anymore. Sting and Darby, the babyfaces getting the win over heels, should have been the end of this feud once and for all. I don't really understand why these two teams are still feuding. I don't know what they're even feuding over at this point, but we need to get these teams away from each other. I still expect to see a one-on-one match between Darby Allin and Ethan Page. That I won't mind. That I would not. If we are building up to that match, I would not mind that whatsoever. Because they have history. They have some phenomenal chemistry together. And I think they could put on a main event caliber great match on an episode of Dynamite. So if we are eventually going to get that, I would not mind that. Sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera. And we are originally in a few weeks getting Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page versus Darby Allin, and a mystery partner. That guy's probably going to be Lance Archer, because he's in absolutely nothing right now. And before this, before he went off the feud with Miro, he was associated with Sting. So it'll probably be Darby and Lance Archer versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And then we had Britt Baker's Women's Championship celebration. We had Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth was out there, Diamante was out there, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero were out there, Chaos Project was out there for some reason, all the jobbers, basically, besides Nyla Rose. So Britt Baker was out there. There was a bunch of hamburgers. She talked about how when I'm on the television, everybody pays attention to me. Nobody walks away from when I have to speak, which is true. She's one of the top things in AEW right now. And this segment was basically to set up Britt's first feud as the champion. That was Nyla Rose. There's a bunch of hamburgers, which Nyla destroyed. And that was the segment. Not really a great segment in my opinion, but it was short, it was sweet, and it looks like we are getting a Nyla Rose Britt Baker feud for the Women's Championship as Britt's first feud, which, to be honest, I don't mind. Nyla Rose can take a loss. Right now, I don't even think she's in big plans for AEW, and Britt beating her in her first match is not a bad thing. So I'm okay with that. And then the final two things we had, Red Velvet versus the Bunny. Didn't really care about this match, but Red Velvet has serious potential. She has serious potential in the women's division. If she's getting better and better right now, folks, she's going to be freaking amazing in about 1 year. She gets the win over the Bunny. She botched a horrible suicide dive, almost really injured her neck. So I really hope she's okay after that. But she got the win over the Bunny, and I can definitely see her challenging Britt Baker for the Women's Championship in the near future during Britt's reign. And then for a couple matches announced next week on Dynamite, we are getting Evil Uno versus Miro for the TNT Championship. Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Eddie Kingston, Penta, El Zero Miedo, and Pac. And then Hangman Page in 10 versus Brian Cage and Will Hobbs. And that is going to be another Friday Night Dynamite next week because of the NBA playoffs. So you guys will get another Dynamite review over SmackDown next week. I'm going Dynamite over SmackDown again for next Friday night. And then the main event, we had a bull rope match. Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Comoroto. This match started at 9:49. It got over at 9:59. This match went 10 minutes. I could not care. I couldn't care at all about this match. This match did not feel like a main event. I had no reason to care about this match. Literally, no investment in it. Dustin Rhodes. The Nightmare Family and the Factory is not a main event feud in AEW, and I don't know why these two teams are main eventing Dynamites. It's just so underwhelming. I felt underwhelmed watching this. I'm like, why is this the main event when you had the Young Bucks versus Penta and Pac on your show tonight? I know you want to open up with them, but this was weak. For a main event on a Dynamite after Double or Nothing, this was such a weak main event. I was very, very disappointed. I'm not saying the match was bad, but I had no interest in this match whatsoever. And the wrong guy went over. Dustin Rhodes got the win, but really we should be putting over the Bright and Future guy and Nick Comoroto, and Dustin Rhodes goes over. So I don't know, man. I'm so over with the Factory and the Nightmare Family feuding against each other. We just need to get this done and over with. Move these two teams on. So that's the Dynamite review. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not already, subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. We are going to start off with a new fresh week on Monday for Raw. I'm going to post a schedule on my social media page. Sunday night for the new week coming up. It's going to be a busy NXT week here on the Big Fight Field channel with Cameron Johnson, so I'm very excited for that. He's going to be on 3 times, just like Wesley Williams was on for Double or Nothing week, so I'm very excited for that. Comment down below your thoughts about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me in tonight's review. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph, and I will see you guys for a whole fresh new week of content right here on the Big Fight Field channel. So guys, have a good night, stay safe, and as always, stay classy, man.